N8N MCP agents are absolutely insane. So what I'm going to show you today is exactly how to set these up and how they're different and what's changed so far. So you can see, for example, we've got this AI agent set up inside N8N. I'll show you how to set up all of this today, step by step, in the most simplified way I possibly can. And essentially what we've got here is an AI agent. And this is linked to, for example, an MCP tool with Airbnb and also Brave Search, right? So it's connected to the web. This AI agent just go off on the web, search stuff. Also, you can search through MCPs on, whatever service you connect it to. So I've connected to an MCP with Airbnb. Let's open up the chat and I'll show you an example. So if we pull up the chat here and we say, for example, okay, find me a 4-bedroom apartment in Manchester, right? You can see what we're doing here is we're using the MCP servers and a combination of the AI agent with ChatGPT inside Airbnb, right? And so it's searching through the data, it's using the chat interface inside N8N, and then it's using the Airbnb tool to figure all of this out. So we'll wait for the response here, and I'll show you exactly the output that we got. So you can see it's like, right, I've found several Airbnb listings for 4-bedroom apartments in Manchester. Here are some options. And what's cool about this is it actually gives you better data than the actual website and platform, right? So if we go onto the website here, it's a bit messy. It's a bit annoying to go through, like it's hard to compare all the options, right? Whereas, for example, inside the chat directly, what you can see with the MCP server and N8N is we've got a breakdown of like the type, the reviews, the price, the available dates. So it's actually figured out, okay, these are the dates. So this is the date. And then these are the dates when it's available. And also it links directly to the different apartments, like you can see. And also it's like, right, if you want more listings, you can just go straight here, which is pretty cool. And additionally, these are all within Manchester. So it's a really powerful way of just organizing information. And it's way faster than the old way. Additionally, what we can do is, if we zoom out here, we say to it, okay, now now do a web search and tell me what the weather is like in Manchester. All right. And that's going to use the Brave Search MCP, which is connected to the internet. You can actually get a free API directly from Brave Search if you want to connect this. And you can see it's now running through the MCP servers. It's going to have to list the tools first, figure that out, and then it's going to use the Brave Search tool to actually do a web search directly. And that will take a moment or so to come back to us. And then once we've done that, we've got the listings right here. Okay, so really powerful stuff, really easy to do. And all we did was we just said, right, do a web search for what the weather is like. So with a combination of the Airbnb MCP server and the Brave Search MCP servers, we can just get the information that we want. If we click on that link, it's going to take us directly to the listings for the weather that was updated 12 minutes ago. Boom shakalaka, we're ready to go, and we can just do a live search on the internet and get the results that we want, right? It's kind of like having access to an AI agent that can interact with all your favorite platforms. The other cool thing about this is, for example, you could actually publish this. So if we go to AI agent over here, and then we go back to the chat message, we can actually publish this AI agent, so we can make it publicly available. We can just hit save on this, make it active, right? So you just activate the workflow. And then once you've activated the workflow, you'll get a public URL that you can just share as a chat bar, right? Really cool stuff. Now, additionally, what you can see here is you can also test this out. So we've got a test workflow over here where we can just test that this is working step by step. But I'm just going to delete that for now because we no longer need it. That was when I was testing out the workflow and making sure it actually works. So we're going to hit save, and then we should be good to go on that. All right, we'll delete the history, make that active, hit got it, and then click on the chat. Let's open this up in a new tab over here, and we've got the chat over here, right? And so this chat will link to our MCP server, right? So you can open up this up in incognito, and you can say, okay, tell me what are the best apartments 4-bed in Manchester. All right, then it's gonna start searching that using our AI agent and the MCP tools. that we were looking for previously. And we can even publish this chatbot directly to the web, right? And it's connected to all these different apps. Now, I'll show you why this is different in a minute and how it works through step by step. If you want the template, it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom. I'll show you how to get that whilst waiting for this to load. So let me just put that on a different screen and I'll show you how to get access to this. So if you go inside the AI Profit Boardroom, then go to SAP's whole collection, and then you'll see the templates right here. So you can just download the template step by step. Credit to Nathan Herc for coming up with this. He actually created an amazing YouTube video. Just search Nathan Herc MCP Agents on YouTube and you'll find the full tutorial on how he set it up. But it's absolutely awesome. And I'll show you how to set up inside this video as well. So you can see here we've got this chatbot. This is on an incognito tab, so you don't need to have any login details to use it. We can publish it to the web. We can actually get embeddable code to embed it onto our website as well. And we've got the reviews plus the links to our Airbnb post right here, right? MCP clients. That is the future, my friend. Mind-blowing stuff. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use this step by step in a second as well. But yeah, you can see how cool that is. Again, we can do web searches. We can do whatever we want. And it is absolutely awesome stuff. So let's delete that. And let me show you exactly how to get this bad boy set up. All right, so we're going to delete that. We'll delete that. We'll get rid of this. If you want the templates, again, inside the AI Profit Boardroom, just get the resources down here. You can download them. And then what I'm going to show you now is exactly how to set this up. Right. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to Elest.io, right? Elest.io. You're going to log in, and I don't think I've paid for this. I think I'm on the free trial currently. I have added my credit card, but I've not paid for it. And what you're going to do is you're going to go over to services, create a new service. You're going to have to verify this. So you might have to go through this process twice, one when you verify it and then one when you finally set it up after approval. Then you're going to click N8N, get this set up the server that you want, right? So for example, if you're using Airbnb, right? If I use Airbnb Asia and then I select Singapore, that's going to give me the results in SGD for the currency of that Airbnb listing or whatever MCP server I'm connected to. So bear that in mind when you're getting the prices, right? If you want this in USD, you would make sure you select USA. Okay, pretty simple stuff. Then you're just going to go over to next. For the package, I would recommend medium. Medium for now. I don't think you need too much storage. But obviously, the more MCP servers and the more workflows you create, the more storage you're going to need. Then you're going to click on next, add the name, add your email address, all that information, create the service, boom shakalaka. You've got Elest.io set up. Now, this is going to ask you for approval the first time you go through it, right? So it'll ask you for approval. You give it the approval. I think you have to add your credit card, and then you just go back into services and just set up N8N, right? Now, once it's set up and deployed, you'll see something like this, right? And so once N8N is deployed, what you're going to see over here is it's going to give you the admin details. So make sure you just go to the admin details. If you want to navigate straight to the actual URL, you can just select this URL right here, the CNAME, and then you can go straight to the workflows over here. And also, the first time you go to this URL, it's going to ask you to set up admin login details, right? So you just fill in your name, you fill in the details about you, make sure you save your password so you can come back to it and get access to it directly, right? Now, this is much more complicated than the workflow I showed yesterday for MCP agents, right? So if you want like a really, really easy and simple workflow, then just get inside the AI Profit Boardroom, the MCP agents tutorial plus SAP right here. That is 10 times easier than what I'm about to show you. But if you want more freedom, if you want to create something crazy, if you want the good stuff, if you want to blow your own mind, then this is what you're going to do, right? And also inside N8N, you might be saying, okay, but why don't you just set this up inside your normal N8N workflow, right? So for example, I've got goldieagency.n8n.cloud, and I could try and create MCP agents in here. That's what you would think, right? But this has to be hosted. It has to be self-hosted if you want to set up MCP agents, right? So, for example, you'll see in the URL up here, it says elestio.app. That is the self-hosted address of our N8N workspace. Now, if we go over to goldieagency.n8n.cloud, this is not self-hosted. And so we cannot install community nodes. If you cannot install community nodes inside the settings section here, then we cannot install MCP servers yet, unless N8N do update in the future, which I'm sure they will. So once you've set up on Elestio, you've got the server running, you've got the subdomain running, etc. What you're going to do from here is you're going to go over to settings. So you're going to go to settings on your self-hosted plan. Then from here, you're going to go to community nodes and you want to import this MCP server. So to do that, you just click on install and you would just insert the package name, which is N8N-nodes-MCP. Click I understand, blah, blah, and then you can click install. Right? Very important to do that first of all. This is a very important step, right? In fact, every step that I show you today is very important, and I will create a step-by-step process, not just video notes inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So if you want to get like a step-by-step SOP for this, it will be all inside the AI Profit Boardroom by the time you finish watching this, right? And so the thing to note about this, right, is like when you're using these MCP nodes, like you can see right here, you're just going to grab this, import it, install it, right? And you might say, well, what's the point? What's the point of doing all this? Well, let me show you an example, right? So back in the olden days, aka a couple of weeks ago, which is a long time ago in the AI space, right? What you'd have to do is like, let's say you got an AI agent, right? And then, you know, you want to link this to whatever. Inside the tool section here, if you wanted to use multiple different tools of Gmail, you're going to have to set them up all separately, mate, right? So you're going to have one for adding a label, right? Then we're going to have to add another tool. And for that, that's going to be for drafting, right? If you want to get the full functionality of Gmail, so we'd have to add one for deleting stuff, right? Then we'd have to add another tool, and we'd have to add this one, and this would be for getting emails, right? And before you know it, you got like 20 different tools inside your AI agent. Takes a long time to set up, takes a long time to quality control, takes a long time to figure this all out, right? It's a lot of mess. Whereas if you're setting up an MCP agent, really, you only need a tool. So you only need one tool for listing the tools, and then one tool for executing the tools, right? So instead of adding, you know, let's say you have to add another one over here, and next one is going to be for marking as read, and then we'll have to add another one for, let's have a look, very inefficient in terms of time here. You're going to have to add another one for marking as unread, right? And if you want to get all the functionality of all the tools, you know, and there could be like 11 tools in one single app, then you have to set that up every single time, my friends. And not only that, but you have to set them up and you have to configure them, right? So each of these tools have to be configured so that they actually work, right? So you have to map out, for example, the message ID, or for example, you have to map out the labels and that sort of thing, right? The message ID and the labels. Gets very messy and time consuming. That's what you don't want. And so MCP agents are way more powerful because all you need, for example, if we want to use the full functionality of Brave Search, is a list tools tool and an execute tool. And that's it. Saves a lot of time, right? And so it's much easier, much simpler, and you get way more powerful AI agents that have way more freedom using this process. Okay, so once you've done that, once you've installed MCP agents, right, the community node, then inside whatever workflow you're going to create, and if you want to create a workflow, you just click on create workflow here. So you go to overview, create workflow, and then you just start setting this up, right? So inside that workflow, if we scroll up here into the blank space, we'll add a node, right click, add node. And then, for example, here, we can put MCP client. And what the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up list available tools, okay? And in here, you would add whatever MCP you want to add, right? So for example, I've got Airbnb and Brave Search right here, whichever one you want to add. Now, there are loads of different MCP agents you can connect. If you're wondering, okay, which ones can I connect? Let me show you a few examples. So if we go to the model context protocol, so this is like the official GitHub that you can import into N8N, right? These are all the different agents you can create. Let me pull this up. So we're going to go over to servers over here. You get, for example, you can insert AWS, Brave Search. You could have GitHub in there, Google Drive, Google Maps. We've got, for example, other ones like Airbnb, right? So you can see here you've got Airbnb. And also there's many different types here. So let me show you an example, right? So in terms of model context protocol servers, right, which is what MCP stands for, you got reference servers. You also have, for example, third-party servers, which you can see right here. So for example, Firecrawl is a pretty powerful one. And also another one that you might want to use is Make. So you can actually turn your Make scenarios into AI assistants and import the MCP. You can, for example, import Perplexity. I've actually created a video inside the AI Profit Boardroom on exactly how to use Perplexity MCP servers directly inside here. So you can just get the SMP directly there. And then also you can see here we have Stripe, right? Imagine how powerful it would be if you could just automate your invoicing processes using an AI agent connected to Stripe MCP, right? So if a client, goes onto your website, they're like, right, I want to invoice for buying $300 worth of backlinks for your SEO agency. Okay, here you go, mate, right? And instead of having a whole finance team, you've automated that using these MCP agents. That's how powerful this is, and that's how easy this is to set up, right? There's other stuff. So, for example, what we're setting up today is Airbnb, but Anki I use for flashcards and learning languages. Like the reason that I can speak 5 languages is because of Anki. Let me tell you that for free. And then, you've got all these other ones as well. So it's absolutely amazing what you can do. There's so much room to it. You see there's an 11 Labs MCP agent there as well. So you can import all of these into N8N, and then you can use, for example, your N8N agents to automate so much different stuff. Okay? So let's come back to the Airbnb example. So if we go to Airbnb over here, we can use this MCP server on A10, like you can see over here, right, inside this workflow. So if you want to do that, here's how you're going to do it. So we're going to right click here. Let me zoom out for you there. Add node, MCP client, and then we're going to click on list available tools. You have to select list available tools before you can execute a tool, right? So it has to retrieve the MCP tools before it can start using them, if that makes sense. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add a new credential here for the MCP server. So for example, if we look at Airbnb, here's how you're going to set it up, right? So you're going to select the command MPX. That's going to be the command here. Now, if you're wondering, okay, why is it MPX? Like, how do you even figure that out? That sounds crazy. So you're going to go to the setup section on the MCP. So this is the GitHub MCP server for Airbnb, right? Now, if we scroll down, we're going to use this section to ignore robots.txt for all requests. And you've got the command, which is MPX, right? So if you go to N8N, and I told you this would be more technical than what I've shown you yesterday, you're going to select the command as MPX. And then inside the arguments here, you're going to select the arguments. So the first argument is -y. So you're going to put -y here. And then for this section, you would select open BNB MCP server, right? So you're going to select that. Remove all the quote marks and just add a space in between each argument, right? So you see how it says -y, and then the next argument has a space, and then it's the next argument, right? And then another space, and then -- ignore robots text. Okay? And then for the environment section here, for Airbnb, you can leave that blank because you don't require an API key, right? If you're using something like Brave Search, which I'll come on to in a minute, you do need an API key, and so you would set that up inside the environment. If you want all the notes on how to set that up, then just check out the AI Profit Boardroom. Scroll down, you can see all the notes on exactly how to set this up step by step. So that's how you set up the MCP list tools section. And then once you've done that, so once you set up the MCP list tools, then you're going to have a new section, which is called MCP client, and you're going to execute a tool, right? Why do you want to execute a tool? Because this is going to use a tool that you've just got listed from Airbnb, right? So the workflow here, if you look at it, it's like we're going to list a tool from Airbnb, and then we're going to execute a tool from Airbnb, right? So we're retrieving all the tools, and then we're executing them. So inside the tool name section here, this is how we set it up. So inside the tool name, let me find this for you right here. Okay, so you're going to use the previous set of the workflow. So for example, let me just X off that. We'll click test step. All right, you have to test the step first. That's going to pull out all the information, right? So you can see all these different tools you can use: location, place ID, check-in, check-out, adults, children, minimum price, maximum price, etc. Right? And it gets all the information directly from Airbnb there. Okay? Now, once you've done that, then you can go to the execute tool section. You can drag in the function from previous, right? Like so. And then from here, you're just going to hard code the location, right? So for example, here we can put location Manchester. I've hard coded it. If you want to copy and paste this from the AI Profit Boardroom, you can if you want to test out. And then from there, we can start running this, right? So that's basically how we can do this. We're going to delete that. We'll delete that. And we'll go back to our AI agent. Let me delete this module as well. We're going to keep going now. So let's just check some of the questions that we got so far. Nate is amazing. Yeah, he's awesome, Nate. Like, he creates some of the best tutorials I've seen on YouTube about AI for sure. RT says, do we have to connect with Visual Studio Code? Not for this workflow. Kaya says, which this tool similarly? I'm not sure what you mean. Code says, please make a video on how to use MCP inside Cursor AI editor. I don't really use Cursor, honestly. Like, I really like Visual Studio Code. So check out my video inside the AI Profit Boardroom for Visual Studio Code. That's what I prefer using these days, just because it's more open for everyone, right? You don't have to pay for it, anything like that. And Craig says, really appreciate your vids and sharing your knowledge. Happy to help, mate. Happy to help. So I appreciate you appreciating me, mate. All right, so let's see what else we got here on the questions. Good morning from Phuket, Sawadee Cap. And good morning from Bangkok. We got a lot of Thai people here, or a lot of expats in Thailand. So that's cool. And then Kyra says, will you be saving this to your channel to troubleshoot the connections? Yeah, so if you want to watch back any of these live streams that we create, we actually edit them down into like better videos here. So if you want like a more concise version without all the gaps and all the silences and that sort of thing, you can watch them inside the video section. If you want to watch like the full slow live section, then just go into the live section and you can watch this back. But yeah, that's essentially how we're going to do it. Now, in a second, I'll show you exactly how to set up an AI agent with MCP servers. I'm just going to set up a couple of tweaks here. Give me a moment here, sunshine, and we'll get straight back to that tutorial. And yeah, any other questions before we dive back in? If you have questions, feel free to ask them. Echo on the mic a bit, mate. Sorry about that. I have got echo cancel removal in the background. And Dark says, what up? What up, gangster? All right. So now you're probably wondering, okay, that's great, Julian. You showed me how to set up MCP clients in a linear workflow, but that doesn't really have many use cases. Okay, great. I'm glad you asked. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start setting up the AI agent with our MCP servers, right? Like you can see right here. So this is an AI agent. It's linked to OpenAI. And then we've got, for example, the Airbnb tool connected and the Brave Search tool connected. Now, if you want to set something like this up, what we're going to do over here is we are going to add an AI agent. So let's plug that in. All right. And then we can plug that in over here. And then we'll add an OpenAI connection. And you just add in your credentials. Literally all your credentials are is like an API code that you can copy over. All right. Then from here, we're going to add a tool. So inside the tool section, we're going to add MCP, and we're going to use those credentials we created earlier. All right. So for example, Airbnb, these are the credentials we talked about earlier, and we're going to have that set up. All right. That's going to be the list tools section. And then what we also need is not just list tools, because that's going to find the tools, but we also need the MCP client for executing the tools, right? So once the agent has listed all the tools, we need to execute the tool. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how do you set up the tool name and tool parameters? Let me show you how to set that up inside my existing workflow here. And so these are the settings that we have, right? So we have execute tool, and then inside the tool parameters section, we actually just use AI. So if you X off that and then click AI like that, so click on let the model define this parameter. And then inside the expression, this is the expression we've used. Again, inside the AI Profit Boardroom, you can just copy and paste this stuff if you want to steal this stuff from me directly, all right? So that's basically it for the AI agent setup. If you want to learn how to set up Brave Search, let me show you the settings for this. So inside Brave Search, you're going to use the details from the GitHub. So let me find the GitHub for Brave Search right here. Here we go. All right. And if we scroll down to the npx section, you would just use npx for the command again. You got the arguments here, right? So -y is the first argument, and then you put @space. Then you put a space in between -y and @model context protocol /server-brave-search, right? And then underneath here, what you can see is we need to insert our API key. So you're going to put brave_API_key equals, right? That's what you're going to put inside the environment setting, right? So we've got the command, which is npx. We've got the argument, which is this. And then for the environment, you're going to have brave_API_key equals, and then you insert your API key. If you're wondering, okay, how do you get an API key from Brave Search? Well, number one, it is free, which is awesome. And number two, to get it, you just go to brave.com. Like you can see, so it's brave.com/search/API, and you can get the API key right here. So you get 2,000 free queries, which is awesome. You can get a free plan, and then you're connected to the internet with your AI agent, and you can combine that with the power of whatever MCP server you insert, right? Really powerful, but simple stuff. And it doesn't take long at all to set that up, right? So if we go back to the N8N agent like so, we've got this all set up and ready to go. All right. Now, again, with Brave Search, we set the tool description automatically. We configured the operation to list tools, and inside the execute tool, here's what we did, right? So we put this expression right here. This is the expression we're using, right? And that's the settings. Pretty simple stuff. Again, we're going to define the tool parameters automatically by the model. So we allow AI to figure that out for us. And literally, when you're setting this up, all you need to do is insert the credentials and also the expression. That's it. Simple stuff. All right. So once you've done that, now you've got all the settings right here. Some people are asking, okay, what's the difference between, say, self-hosting N8N versus online? Well, number one, if you're self-hosting N8N, you can use MCP clients, right? You can't do that with the hosted on N8N option yet. Maybe that will come in the future. And then number two, this allows you to also use N8N for free, right? So if you set up N8N via Alessio, as I said, like I haven't been charged anything on the credit card. If I set it up via N8N, I only get a 2-week free trial, and then I have to start paying, right? And if you run N8N locally, then you don't have to pay at all, right? So it's completely free. So that's some of the biggest differences right there. So let's get back to this AI agent. So we've got this all connected right here. So we've got when chat message is received, that's going to go over to the AI agent. By the way, if you're wondering what the system message is, we've just put you're a helpful assistant. That's running through OpenAI. Like you can see, we've got the Airbnb tool connected with the MCP server here. And by the way, when you're setting up multiple MCP servers, make sure you change your name, right? So you can see here, we named it as Brave Search. The reason you want to add the name here is so that it's so much easier to understand this whole section. If you don't add the MCP server, then it's going to be super annoying because you won't know which MCP server is which, and it'll get really confusing. And before you know it, you're screaming at your computer screen and not sure what's going on. I don't want that for you. So we're going to hit save on that. I'm going to deactivate this because I don't want it to be accessible to the whole web. But you can see the idea of exactly how it works. And then if you go inside the chat here and we say, all right, mate, 2-bedroom condo in Manchester. It's going to take a minute or two to load. We're using the AI agent. I like to use OpenAI, just keep things simple. Like I think OpenAI integrates really well inside N8N, whereas sometimes, if you use these reasoning models like DeepSeek or you use these free APIs, sometimes they do fail. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to be you there. And so we've got the whole section here on exactly how it works step by step. We've got the breakdown of all of the MCP listings, the prices, the location, the ratings, the reviews, etc. And if you want the complete Airbnb search link, you can go right here. It just makes gathering information a lot quicker. You can create your own apps and tools with this. You could publish this as a chatbot like I showed you earlier. And Honestly, if I was looking for like an Airbnb, let's say I was looking for a villa in Phuket for New Year's Eve, this would be way easier than actually using the website because I can just compare the options really quickly and easily, and I don't need to mess around. And then whenever I'm ready to buy, I can just click on the link, get it booked in, boom shakalaka. We saved a lot of time right there. Right. And then the same with the Brave search thing, right? So for example, if I'm like, right, okay, tell me about Gemma 3, right? It's going to do a search using the Brave search web tool, like you can see. And then that should start working its magic right here. One thing I want to do as well after this is I'm actually going to say do one web search about Gemma 3. All right, so just one resource. But let's check what we get back in a second. So you can see it's now come back to us with all the information about Gemma 3 using that web search, right? Along with the links. All right, so this is connected to the internet. For example, this particular result is from March the 12th, right? Whereas ChatGPT's data doesn't cover up to that period, right? And so it's real-time data. This is coming up now. This is March the 12th, 2025, right? Like a week ago. And so it's connected to the internet. It understands exactly what's happening. It links to real resources. It's in real time, and it gives us real information, right? And all of a sudden, the biggest limitation to, for example, like using Claude 3.7 or something like that is it's only updated to October 2024. It's not a real live agent connected to the internet. Whereas something like an MCP server or Brave Search, you can combine the power of all these different apps. It's a lot simpler to set up, and also you can actually search the web in real time. Plus, you get all the resources and a nice little breakdown right here. Right. Additionally, if we just say to the agent, I want to test this, I'm going to say, just do one web search, right? Return one resource. I want to see if the AI agent is intelligent enough just to give us one resource, not like 6 different resources, and see if we can, filter and personalize the search results, right? Because if it can do that, then it's actually better than using something like Google, right? If you're using something like Google, you get all the ads. Yeah, look at that. Boom shakalaka. All right, so you've got one single web search result. If we click on that, it's the most relevant one as well. So it's the most authoritative. It links directly to Google's website, March 12th, 2025. We got the results right there. And it's only given us one, like we specified. So we said just do one web search about Gemma 3, return one resource. And it said, yeah, I found a resource. Here you go, right? Now, this is way more efficient than actually using something like Google, right? So if we say, okay, Gemma 3, it's going to link to all these different YouTube videos and different links, and it's going to be really messy and there's no summarization. Whereas if you go inside this AI agent, we've created something that's actually better than Google because it gives us an overview. It gives us the most relevant links. It's not really messy. There's no ads, and we can customize it however we want. Plus, it's a much more intelligent search, right? So that's what I'm talking about, peeps. That's the future of MCPs. So if you want to get all of these workflows and the full SOP, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description. This comes with all my best AI agent workflows and everything else. If you want the AI agent system prompts and everything else, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom alongside a much less technical workflow for creating MCP agents, which I link to inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This also comes with basically a community focused on making more money and saving time with AI. Right? So if you want to automate your business, if you want to scale up, if you want to save hundreds of hours, this community is awesome and perfect for you, right? We've got 475 members that you can ask questions about inside the community right here. And all these questions get answered, right? So for example, you can see everyone's getting an answer right here. Additionally, you can see we're constantly updating it here, right? So this is wild. Every single week we update this. You can see all the other stuff that we've added right here. All this stuff is brand new. And that's the thing, right? If you want to be in a community where it's constantly being updated, where you get the latest information on what's working, what's not working, the AI Profit Boardroom is all about that. Additionally, you can get all of the agent workflows and just import those directly into N8N. So you save all the setup, and you can jump on Q&As weekly if you want to call, right? In fact, if you join today, you can get weekly Q&As and you can jump on the Q&A call today, right? So for example, if you wanted to import that N8N workflow that we've just shown you here, what you do is you would go over here. You're going to download the Airbnb and Brave search. example, like so. Then we're going to go to N8N and we can click on import from file. All right, so we'll import that from file, import the JSON file. Boom, look at that. All right, we've just imported that straight in. So you don't need to mess around with the setup or anything like that. Saves a lot of time, my friends. Saves you spending like an hour figuring this stuff out, just like me. All right. And it also comes with other loads of cool stuff. Like, for example, we've got a 3-hour course on how to use Manus with my best recipes right there and all this good stuff. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to book that in. We'll share how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 business a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales and autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free domination plan that's custom tailored so you can get more lead sales and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building. You have to jump on that call and one-to-one, ask any questions about SEO that you have, learn the best link building strategies for your website, plus how to quickly outrank your competitors based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments and description to this free one-to-one SEO strategy session. All right, let's see what we got here. What questions we got? So what do you think of the future of SEO? I think Google is in danger. Check out my interview with Neil Patel on YouTube. If you type in Neil Patel, Julian Goldie on YouTube, you'll see me and him talking about the future of SEO and how it's all going to change, right? So, really, it's a time of adaptation. Like the reason that I create so many videos about AI and how it's all changing is simply because the world is changing. Most SEOs are not adapting from what I see. Most SEOs are not even up to speed in terms of what's happening in the AI world. And so if you adapt now, you're going to be way ahead of your competitors. But if you fall behind, even if you take a week or two off, then, you're totally smashed. But, we have a lot of clients getting like millions of traffic with SEO. So there's tons of clients absolutely flying with SEO. It's just you have to understand how to use this stuff and how powerful it is. I mean, for example, if I share my screen now, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So like even, for example, on Medium, we get like, just on our articles, we get like, and it's, bear in mind, we're only on March 19th here. We get like 9,200 views a month just on Medium. And we're only 2/3 of the way through the month, right? So if you're creating articles and you do it in the right way, you can get a lot of traffic, both on the platform and also with SEO. But if you don't know how to use this stuff, you're going to fall behind. I mean, for example, you see this article we created as well yesterday. This is an article we created on X, and you can see you got 2,000 views, right? And that's wild. An article we published only 16 hours ago has already got 2,000 views. Now, if you want to learn how to do that, I've got tons of different examples inside the AI Profit Boardroom, but essentially, you've got to learn how to adapt. This is a period of adaptation, and you either join the AI Profit Boardroom and you learn this stuff, or you fall behind. That's the savage reality for most business owners today. So make sure you stay up to date, my friends. That's what I'm telling you. So let's see what we're going to do next. Bear with me. I'm just going to take a little break for a minute or so. Yo-Yo says I'm going to watch it. Yeah, definitely check that out because it's I think me and Neil Patel were on the same wavelength in terms of how SEO is going to change, what's going to happen in the future. Like the future looks really bright, but only for those people who adapt, right? Like you remember when I first started posting content on YouTube about AI and SEO, like how so many people were really negative about it, right? And now, if you don't use AI in your SEO workflows, like you're falling behind, like you're crazy, right? And so the way that I see it is like you've always got to be ahead of your competition. You always got to be learning and testing stuff as well. And if you have any questions about SEO and that sort of thing, either book in a free SEO strategy session, link in the comments description, or join the SEO Elite Circle. This new Google Gemini update is absolutely insane. So what you can see here, for example, is we can generate audio overviews just by uploading a document. And additionally, you can create like absolutely awesome landing pages like you can see right here using the brand new update from Gemini. Now, this is a bit of a game changer because they've just announced this literally less than 24 hours ago. And essentially, they have a new interactive space called Canvas for refined documents and code, and also audio overview, which basically turns your files into like podcast style discussions, right? So you can see here, for example, I uploaded my book, Link Building Mastery, and kind of like Notebook LM, which is another Google product, you can see an AI generated version of my book, right? So let's play this, for example. So this whole audio is number one, generated by AI, and number two, it's customized to my book that I uploaded, right? You can do this with any document that you upload. It's a bit of a game changer because number one, like the designs look 10 times better. If I do the same prompt inside, say, ChatGPT or Claude, I don't think it's going to look anywhere near as good as this. So it looks 10 times better. And also, I don't know any other AI that can do this, especially not as well as this. This is kind of like a podcast style audio. And you've got two podcast speakers inside that, right? Kind of discussing all the information about you, your blog, etc. This would be awesome to embed inside a blog, or to, you could upload to Spotify, create a podcast out of it, or YouTube, etc. And it's very, very convincing that it's like two actual genuine people talking about this, right? Now, just to show you how powerful this is, we pull up ChatGPT and we'll compare these side by side, right? So as an example of this, we'll use exactly the same prompt inside Gemini, which is create a landing page for an SEO agency. And we'll do exactly the same prompt inside ChatGPT. All right, we'll compare them side by side. So let me pull this up for you as an example. And we'll get ChatGPT over here. So ChatGPT already had a canvas feature, but the style of it was not that good. I'm also going to compare this to Claude as well. Claude is another one of my favorite AI tools for generating landing pages, but it's not going to be as good from what I remember. All right, so we're going to wait for those to load. But you can see here, like the design is good. This has a CTA throughout the page for a free consultation. It's got information about the services. And we literally just gave it one single prompt, which was create a landing page for an SEO agency. It went off, coded it, created the contact information, created the testimonials. And all we have to do is fill in the blanks on that information. We can also see the code here. And, you could easily download this and then export it or host it on Netlify. You can also share the canvas. So if we click on share over here, it will create like a subdomain where your canvas is actually hosted. Right? So if we click on that, we open this up. Look at that. It's deployed to a subdomain, right? So we can actually share that with other people. People can check out the code, check out the preview. I mean, you could probably just send traffic to that and it would still convert, right, if you had the right funnel links inside it. So super powerful stuff. Let's have a look inside, for example, ChatGPT. We'll compare these side by side. So here's the difference. Here's how powerful Gemini is with its new update versus ChatGPT. Like, I've never really rated Gemini as a tool, but this is game changing. So if you look at the quality of the front end here on ChatGPT, which is super buggy right now for some reason, look at that, which is like really boring design, not much information, no CTAs, no navigation menu. And it's just not that interesting, right? Whereas, for example, if you go over to Gemini's got really nice design, nice front end, looks a lot more modern. Like this is a bit more 2023, whereas this one is more like a 2025 style design. And it was exactly the same prompt. I mean, even Claude is one of my favorite AI coding tools of all time, right? But if we have a look at this, look at that. Like it's messy. The responsive design is not that nice. It doesn't look anywhere near as good as the response from Gemini. And all of a sudden, overnight, literally with one single update, Gemini has become like one of the best coding tools for front end. Like it looks super nice and it requires minimal coding. Like you can see, it's almost like Bolt, but it's better. In fact, let's test this out. So I'm going to go over to Bolt.new and we'll test out the new update from Gemini for coding versus Bolt.new. Right? So we'll say create a landing page for an SEO agency. And again, you can deploy this to a subdomain as well, which is one of the unique things about Bolt.new previously, but now you can deploy this pretty easily on a subdomain just by clicking the share options, share canvas right there. And you can also revert, so you can see previous versions of this, and it's really easy to go through this. So for example, let's wait for this to load on Bolt.new. And the main way that you can use this, let me pull this up. So if you go to gemini.google.com/app, and then you're going to select Canvas right here. Right, that's how you use this. So you go to Canvas and then you give it the command. So for example, if we say run a self-playing snake game, it's going to start coding that out. The other cool thing about Gemini is it's redonkulously fast, right? It's really, really fast at coding. If you saw, for example, ChatGPT earlier, you saw how slow it was for coming up with designs and that sort of thing. Whereas this is just really quick. We can switch to preview anytime we want. I mean, look at the UI and everything like that. It's pretty nice, pretty simple and easy to do. The code, to be fair, that code doesn't work. So I'm not saying this is perfect by any means, but the UI is much nicer. And you can go back and forth inside the canvas right here. Right? Now, if we come back to Bolt.new and we have a look at the outputs from Bolt.new, let's pull this up as an example, right? And we go back to that previous chat with Gemini. Which landing page is nicer? This one from Bolt.new, which is really short, doesn't look that nice in terms of the design, kind of feels like a generic AI website, or this one, where the colors are nice, the branding is nice, it's got these pop-outs here. Even the testimonials pop up and animate. It's got a nice little contact us form, right? By far, Gemini is creating nicer landing pages using exactly the same prompting process. So that's the power of Gemini and how awesome it is. And that is just one example. So the coding now with the canvas and the preview is pretty cool. Does seem a little bit temperamental if you're creating games with it, but for landing pages, certainly it's a good option. And then if you want to use the audio version, let me show you exactly how to do that, right? It takes a few minutes to generate. So if we go to Gemini over here, and then we're going to click on new chat, like you can see, then you're going to upload a file, right? So you upload a file. So for example, let's say you've got my link building mastery book. We'll click on files, upload the document. So that's just a Google Doc. And then once you've uploaded that, it will give you the option to generate an audio overview. So that's how you generate this. You have to upload a document, and then using that document, you can generate an audio overview. Now, the other game changer with Gemini recently is that they've just introduced deep research, right? Deep research. If you haven't used this already, let me show you a few examples of this. So this is what deep research looks like. If you want to use it, you just select the top left drop down and then go to deep research. And this creates like a really in-depth, powerful report that goes off on the web, and it is free for people to access. Right? Now, if you want to, for example, turn that into an overview, I don't think you can paste it in here, so you can't paste it. But what you would do is you would export that deep research into Google Docs, like you can see right here. All right. Then once you've done that, you can download that deep research you've got. So you've got like a really in-depth report on whatever you've asked it to do. Then we're going to go over to Gemini 2.0 Flash, upload that file with the deep research, like you can see, wait for it to upload, and then you can generate an audio overview. Okay? And once you've generated the audio overview, here's what it's going to look like. So it's going to be generated. It does take a few minutes, so you can either keep that open or you can just come back to the chat later, and then you're good to go on that. Right? Now, if we come back to that previous audio overview that we created, this one right here, We can also download the conversation, so we can download that and use that as a file, or we can actually share that with other people, right? So if we click on share publicly, we can click on the link, it automatically copies it, then we can open that up in a new tab. And if we wait for that to load, you can see it's hosted on a gemini.google.com subdomain. So it might take a minute or so to publish, but we'll come back to it later. But yeah, that's basically how you can do it. So you can see how easy it is. Then you've got the content right here. You can see how it's created, when it was created, the date, etc. How easy it is to do. And then you can even continue this chat. So you can continue the chat as well. And then if we open this up and we'll play it. So let's click on play here.
Right, so today we're gonna dive into something that I think a lot of people struggle with. We are gonna try to demystify link building for SEO.
Oh yeah.
And we are gonna be using
bear in mind as well, like literally all I've done here is click generate audio overview and upload a document. So there's not even any prompting required. And also this is a lot nicer than the notebook lm.google interface, right? So if you're using the UI inside notebook LM, it's quite messy. You know, you can see it's not that easy to navigate and use. It's hard to go back to old projects, etc. It's just not as nice. Whereas inside Gemini, it's clean, it's nice, it looks good, and the audio is pretty much perfect. Let's play more of this.
A really cool ebook that I found. It's called Link Building Mastery by Julian Goldie.
Oh, fantastic.
And in this deep dive, we're really trying to drill down and figure out what are the most effective, ethical link building techniques that you can use to improve your website's SEO.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, a lot of times people get really overwhelmed with this topic, so we're hoping to kind of cut through all the clutter.
So that's enough of that, but you get the point. Like, it's pretty easy to set up, pretty easy to automate audio, and literally all you do is just upload a document. So between those new updates, really powerful stuff. And it does take a few minutes to generate, so this one is still being generated, but you get the point, right? So this was just announced literally a few hours ago. And again, you can share the canvas. You can go to gemini.google.com/canvas if you want to go straight there. And this is also super useful for like previewing React and HTML code, drafting and editing documents, and building like interactive prototypes, right? So for example, you know, coming back to that snake game we built earlier, pretty powerful stuff. Now let's try another one now. So if we go to a new chat here, we can select between all the different models that we've got access to. I'm going to go with 2.0 Flash. We'll click on Canvas over here. And then let's say, for example, we want to create something. So I'm going to say now, create an SEO cost calculator. Codes it really, really quickly. So it should save a lot of time as well when you're generating these responses. And yeah, you can generate like full websites. I mean, look how quick and easy that was to do. The output is pretty nice too. You can select what type of website you want to do, keywords, pages to optimize, target location. You can click which services you require. And then the calculator actually works perfectly, as you can see down there. So you've got the estimated cost, the information, the base cost, etc. Right? How easy was that? Like, it doesn't matter whether you can code or not. If you have an idea, you can build it in minutes. And then also, you know, you can grab the code, like you can see right here. You could download that code if you wanted to as well. But the other option here is like you can just go and embed that into a website. Also, if we go to LiveWeave, we can preview it here. So if we plug that in, you can preview it inside liveweave.com if you want to see what it looks like as a standalone. Really simple stuff to do. Now, I wonder if we can make changes to that. So I'm going to go inside Ask Gemini here, and I'll say, okay, here's my brand colors. Brand colors below, please redesign it. So we'll just ask it to redesign that now and see. You can see it refreshing over here. So you can see the buffering circle as it's coding. So it must be running through the code, rebranding it. And if we reopen the preview, you can see it's using new branding colors right there. So it's really simple and easy to update this. doesn't seem to be as annoying as kind of using ChatGPT sometimes on the canvas. And they've definitely stepped up the game. I mean, for example, let's do the exact same prompt inside Gemini versus Advanced. So I'm going to plug this into Gemini and ChatGPT at the same time and see, number one, how fast each one is, and number two, which one comes back with the better output, all right? So we'll say create an SEO cost calculator. I'll give ChatGPT the head start, like you can see, and then Gemini, and we'll see which one creates the canvas fastest, all right? So you can see already, like, this is coming up with a faster response from Gemini, so it seems to be a lot quicker. And it's already finished, right? You can see the preview right there. Now, if we go back to ChatGPT, it's actually not giving us an option to preview it this time, which is kind of annoying. And if we say, okay, rewrite this as HTML, it's going to start rewriting it now. So, you know, already Gemini's already got the head start in terms of creating it for a preview in the canvas mode. And we'll wait for that to load, and then we'll run the preview and compare the tools side by side. So you can see how slow it is to generate outputs versus Gemini. Let's click on... We don't seem to be able to preview that, actually. That's interesting. Yeah, there's no preview option on that, is there? Usually you even get preview, but this time you don't. So, you know, let's preview this inside liveweave.com instead, if ChatGPT is not working. So we'll plug in HTML of it. And you can see, like, the design is just not as interesting or as nice, right? So if we pull up, this is the output from ChatGPT. Let's pull that up and compare it versus Gemini. And we'll compare side by side which one is better for coding and front end. Like, which one looks nicer? Obviously, it's going to be Gemini's, right? It has a nice little explainer sentence. The form is a bit more well thought out. It's more interesting. If we try and calculate the total cost, actually, let's have a look here. So it does update, but there's no button to get started, unlike this one. And the UI and the design is just 10 times nicer. So you can see the difference here between the two models and how much more powerful Gemini is. And Gemini is a lot faster. So for me, honestly, I would seriously consider switching to Gemini at this point. Like, the reason that I didn't like it previously was it was pretty bad for coding. It was pretty bad for getting intelligent responses. But now it's got a canvas option. It's got an audio version. Like, you know, Google are back in the game for sure, for sure. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get the SCP and all my best AI agents, SEO workflows, AI workflows, N8N templates, etc., feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This is a community with one single goal, which is save you hundreds of hours and make you more money with AI. So if you want to join, feel free to get that link in the comments description. If you sign up now, you'll lock in your legacy price before the prices go up at the end of the month. So you'll save money today and also forever if you sign up at that price. And additionally, this comes with all of my best workflows on like MCP agents, N8N agents. We've got workflows on how to set up Google AI agents as well, and Manus courses and everything else. And you see how many updates we've made just in March alone. So it's absolutely wild. Top of that comes with a community of 475 people. You can ask for help and advice. And as well as that, you can also jump on the weekly Q&As. So if you sign up today, you can jump on the weekly Q&A, ask us any questions that you have. And if you can't make the Q&A calls, but you're still stuck, you can actually watch back the Q&A recordings like you can see right here inside the classroom. So feel free to get that link in the comments and description. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to put that in link in the comments and description. On this free SEO strategy session, we'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free SEO donation plan. So this will be custom tailored so you can generate more lead sales and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building. You'll get your questions answered. You'll learn the best link building strategy for your website, plus how to quickly get our IQ competitors to link building and 10x SEO traffic based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments and description. Appreciate you watching. All right, what questions we got here? Yo, what's the cost of the MCP server per day? Depends what you use. The ones that I showed with N8N earlier are free, so it doesn't cost you anything. Q2, is there a tool or best way to extract the emails of clients? Use Hunter. Hunter is the best. I've got tons of training inside the SEO Elite Circle for that stuff, so feel free to get that. All right, I'm just gonna set up the details for the next topic, my friends. One segundo. So, Mistral Small 3.1 has just been announced. This is a new update from Mistral, which is a French AI company, and it's kind of like a rival to Gemma 3. In fact, in the benchmarks here, you can see they've compared it directly versus Gemma 3, which is the latest model directly from Google, and this is kind of like a small AI model. It's going to be open sourced. You can actually get it on OpenRouter as well. I'll show you how to get that in a second and how to use this. And it says the model outperforms comparable models like Gemma 3, which is of course the latest model from Google. Also outperforms GPT-4o Mini whilst delivering inference speeds of 150 tokens per second. Now, the other difference is that it's got an expanded token window, right, of 128k tokens. Like you can see right here. You can see the benchmarks. So you can see how it's performing in terms of latency. And if you actually look here, it's compared for performance. So you've got Mistral Small 3 in orange, Gemma 3, GPT-4o Mini, and Claude 3.5 Haiku. And on all the benchmarks here, this smaller model of Mistral is outperforming the latest model of Google. So they've kind of released it like a week later, and it's already outperforming them. Same for MMLU. So you can see here, GPT-4o Mini does outperform it for MMLU over here, but Mistral is holding its own right there. It's actually outperforming GPT-4o for human evaluation. Like you can see, it's not that great at maths versus Gemma 3, but for everything else, it's pretty powerful stuff. It's also a multimodal model, right? That means that it can actually use, for example, so it can use, for example, like vision, that sort of thing. And also we've got some other examples. It's a multilingual model too, as well. And it's got a much longer context, right? So you can see the benchmarks here. In terms of context windows, pretty long context window, 128k tokens, pretty powerful stuff. So it's really, really lightweight. One of the things here is like it can run locally really well, fast response and conversational. So it's super fast when you use it. You can fine tune it as well. And it's also useful for advanced reasoning, plus it's multimodal. And if you want to fine tune it, then you can fine tune it on Google Cloud Vertex AI, right? So you just go to Google Cloud Vertex, and then you can start using the Mistral AI model, like you can see right here. Mistral 3.1 is the one available on here, and then you can just set that up using the model card, right? It's also available on Hugging Face as well, so you can host it that way. And this is open source, like I mentioned. So pretty cool stuff right here. You can see the example, the characteristics, how it performs, use cases, etc. So it's good for programming, maths, reasoning, dialogue, everything else, visual understanding. And if you want to use this, you can go to OpenRouter as well, right? Now, if you go to OpenRouter, OpenRouter has like access to loads of different models. So for example, it's got access to Gemma 3, Mistral, Claude 3.5 Haiku, and additionally, you can see a comparison of all the models right here. But if you type in Mistral 3, So Mistral small 3.1. We can open this up. We can click on chat, and you've got the details of it right here. You can also see the providers. So if you click on providers over here, we've got the providers, the apps. So you can see here that it's actually available inside Klein as well using Mistral Small. So I'll show you how to use that in a second, along with RuCode. So RuCode and Klein also use Mistral Small, and you can grab an API key directly here. All right. Now, if you want to start using this inside OpenRouter for free, then you can just go onto OpenRouter over here, and then you can start going back and forth with it. So this also links to web search, and you can change the settings here. So for example, you can change some of the settings, auto expand, etc. You can start new room, click web search. Let's test if the web search works. So I'm going to say, tell me about Mistral Small 3.1 using the web search. Let's see what it comes back with. Hopefully this works. This is also available on the model card with Hugging Face. So you can see all the details right here. One thing is not available on, so unlike Gemma 3 is available if you want to host it locally. You can just select the drop-down details here, and then just make sure you have Ollama installed, and then run this in your terminal. But if you want to get access to Mistral inside Ollama, it doesn't seem to be there yet. I think it's coming. Let's have a look here. Oh, there we go. Look. So you got Mistral Small available now. So you can actually download it with Ollama. The way that you can do that is you would just download Ollama, right? So if you want to run this locally or offline, download Ollama, and then from there, you can run this terminal command. If we open up terminal, for example, right here, so let's open this up, and then we just have to make sure we have Ollama running in the background. So make sure you have Ollama open. Wait for that to load. Once you've done that, you'll see the icon for Ollama in the top right. Then go back to your terminal, copy this command from Ollama, and then go to terminal, plug that in, and it will start downloading it like you can see right there, right? So if you want to host this locally, if you start running this, etc. locally, then you can get the latest version of Mistral Small right there. I'm just going to stop that for now, just so I don't slow down the video, but it's quite easy to get that set up. It's about 13 gig to download. Pretty easy and simple to do. Let's see if there's other models here. So if we search for Mistral Small 3.1, we've actually got loads of different options here. Look at this. So you've got all these different examples. Hosted, lots of people have uploaded it. 128K context, like you can see. And that was updated just 3 hours ago. So you can select between these drop downs, and then again, just copy the command, run that in your terminal, and then you can host this locally, right? Which is pretty cool. Also, you can see here, so it's given us the latest information about Mistral inside the chat here, which is pretty cool. And we've got the details. Seems to be really fast as well when it's replying. What I want to say now is create and code a HTML landing page for an SEO agency. Let's see if it can do that. So it's coding it. You can see how quick it is when it's coding, like really, really good stuff. And also it's a multimodal model. So we can actually take a screenshot of a website and then use that to clone it as well. We'll do that in a second. So if we zoom out here, we'll grab a screenshot of this. And then using that screenshot, if we just copy and paste it, we'll duplicate the chat room with Mistral Small 3.1. Go to new room, open it up, paste in the image. So you can see the image of the website in the bottom left there. And then we'll say clone this. See if that works. In the meantime, we've got the HTML back from Mistral, like you can see. We'll scroll up. That seems to be good to go. Let's preview this on LiveWeave. I'm not sure how good it's going to be for coding because it didn't perform well on maths benchmarks. But let's see. It's not bad, to be fair. I mean, it's pretty basic, that website, but it does the job. Let's see if we can actually scroll down. Yeah, we can. Added a contact form. One click. I wouldn't say that's as good as Gemma or Gemma 3, etc., but it's okay. And then, for example, it's now coding the cloned website, right? So what you can see here is we have uploaded this image. We've just said clone this, and it can clone that website. So it's like, right, clone the website involves multiple steps. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to build the front end, and it's built out the HTML, then the CSS, and then the JavaScript as well, right? So if we now go back to Live Weave over here, and we'll grab the HTML from Mistral Small. Here we go. Let's copy that, plug it in. Then we're going to grab the CSS. We'll plug that into Live Weave over here. And then finally, what we want to do is just grab the JavaScript. All right, so we'll plug that in over here. And then if we open this up, this is the website that's created with the JavaScript. It's cloned the copy. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be that great for coding, but you can see how easy and fast that was to do. Honestly, if I'm going to clone something now, I think for me, what I've seen so far is like Gemini's a bit, right? So if we actually take this and then we go to Gemini, like from what I tested this morning, if you check out my other video on Gemini, with the canvas option now, it actually creates better outputs. So if we say clone this, wait for that to load, make sure you have canvas selected, hit enter. This can actually code using the canvas here. And I'm almost guaranteed this is going to be better than Mistral Small. And from what I've compared, it's actually better versus, it's better than Claude 3.5 Sonnet. If you want to see an example of what we coded earlier using this process, let me find an example. So this is the SEO agency landing page with Gemini and the new update with Canvas. And that is 10 times better than what you get back from Mistral Small. But you can see how powerful and easy it is to use. You can download it locally. It's quite easy to preview and use inside the chat here. I don't think that's cost me anything as well. So let me just go back inside the credits usage section here. So we've not used any credits for that, as far as I'm aware. Let's have a look. We go back inside OpenAI. Has it charged us? Yeah, so look at that. Like, it's so cheap. It's cost us 0.00044 credits to use that. So it's ridiculously cheap to use Mistral, as you can see right here. And if you want to see, okay, what's my credit usage, just go to openrouter.ai/activity, and then you can see the timestamps plus how much it costs you, right? So that's literally less than half a cent. It's not a cent, it's not half a cent, it's less. And then you can see the cost of the API plus the speed here, super fast when it's coming back to you. Plus you can see how many tokens it cost, where you used it, and which model you used, which is super powerful. Now, what we can also do is if we open up Visual Studio Code, if we go to Klein, just going to quit Llama for now. If we go to Klein, let's open this up. And then if we go to settings over here, we're going to allow that. And then inside Klein, we should be able to select Mistral. And we should be able to use, let's have a look here. Have we got Mistral? Yeah, small latest. That's the one I think you'll be using. If you want to be 100% sure that you're using Mistral 3.1, let me type this in. We should be able to find that there. There we go. All right, so you can see here we've got Mistral small 3.1 instruct right there using OpenRouter. Right, so if you want to code with an IDE using Mistral 3.1, you can plug it into Klein, and Klein is one of the most popular apps for using the OpenRouter Mistral API, as we saw earlier in this video, right? Now, if you want to get access to Visual Studio Code, if you're not sure how to set this up, etc., pretty powerful tool, actually. I tend to use this more than I do for Cursor or anything like that. So essentially what you would do is you go to visualstudio.com, like you can see, code.visualstudio.com. Download this. You can choose whether you use it for Mac or whatever. Once you've done that, then you're going to go over to Visual Studio Code, go to extensions, type in Klein. And this is available with Klein, or you can also install RuCode. RuCode is another extension that you can install. Once you've installed those, you'll see it on the left-hand side, like you can see right here. And then inside here, just make sure you've got OpenRouter selected, and then Mistral small 3.1 instruct, right? You can also see there's a free API with Mistral, but I don't think that's 3.1. I think that's just like the small model from before. Then from here, we can start using this. So let's give this a whirl. We'll say, right, are you working? We'll test if that's working or not. Yeah, so you can see here, it's working. It's using the Mistral Small 3.1 option, and then we can start coding inside our project using this process, right? Really easy and simple to use Mistral directly with Visual Studio Code. So that's pretty much it. I will include an SOP directly inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to get access to this. So if you want to get access, just go to the AI Profit Boardroom with the full SOP. This also includes like all my latest SOPs, right? So for example, AI agents, MCP agents, Google free deep research, Manus AI, etc. If you want to learn all the latest stuff about AI with step-by-step instructions and video tutorials, join the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. It also comes with like email content automation, social media and video automations, AI agent workflows, web automation, AI SEO automations, N8N templates, Q&A call recordings, crash course, and all my best SOPs. Top of that, this community is all focused on making more money and saving time with AI. So if that sounds like you, feel free to join. And then if you have any questions, you can post inside the community, ask any questions you have. And additionally, it comes with weekly live Q&A. So if you want to jump on the Q&A call today with us, feel free to jump on that. Just join the AI Profit Boardroom and you'll get all the details inside there. So feel free to get that link in the comments in the description. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 business a month, feel free to get that link in the comments and description, and you'll be able to get that directly here. This comes with a custom tailored link building plan, so you can generate more lead sales and profits to your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building. We'll answer any questions you have one-to-one. You'll learn the best link building strategy for your site, plus how to quickly outrank your competitors in link building based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. So if you want to get more customers, more leads, more sales from Google, feel free to book that in. Link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.